Hi and welcome to another episode of Toby's Barbecue Corner. Today we're making the easiest pizza dough ever. Now what you need for it and how to do it, I'm going to show you in this episode. And this is what we need for today. Now obviously we need some pizza flour, and this is Caputo pizza flour. I think it's really the best pizza flour to use. You need some semola later on. You need a little bit of water separated from more water. You need some olive oil, you need some yeast, as well as a little bit of salt. And that's all you need for your pizza dough. Now the pizza dough, the recipe, the original recipe, comes from a guy called Teichner's. I think it's really the best to make, but you need a little bit of time because it takes actually 48 hours to make. Right, I took off my sweater because this is a very hands-on kind of recipe. So all you need to do is, in the first place, you're going to take your flour and you can put that into a bowl, hopefully without making too much mess. And now this is for 6 pizzas. So obviously the ingredients that I'm going to list is for 6 pizzas. Obviously if you want to have more or less, you can change the recipe, and then we'll just pour in 500 ml of water, and we're going to start to mix until all the water is absorbed by the flour. Really make sure that you catch all the sides as well, because it will go rather quickly that the flour absorbs the water. So we're going to finish this up now. I'm going to show you the next step. Right, you can see the flour has absorbed the water, and what we're going to do now is we're going to cover it up with a cloth for half an hour so that the autolyse, not entirely sure what the English word is, autolysis I guess, can really get to work. The first glutinous strings will begin to form, it will get very elastic, and then we're going to get started on our yeast. Right guys, half an hour is up. This is what the dough looks like right now. So we're going to briefly set it to the side, and you recall the water that I had left over, that little bit? Well, I put it in here. Now we're going to put our fresh yeast in there, and we're going to make sure that it dissolves, and I'm just going to use my fingers, and obviously you need to make sure that it dissolves properly because you want it in the dough, you don't want it anywhere else. So just make sure you get that done properly. And then we're just going to take our flour water mix and just pour that straight in there. There we go. And now it's time to use your hands and really massage that yeast water mix into our dough. So your fingers are allowed to get a bit dirty. Make sure you have them clean prior. Right. So we're going to mix that really well. Make sure it goes in everywhere. And then we're going to add our salt into this as well. Make sure that we mix that really well in as well. And then we're almost ready to actually start kneading our dough, because obviously we need to make sure that it has the right consistency before we put it in the fridge. So here we go. Make sure, as I said, that the salt is nicely spread all around. Alright, we're almost there. So I'll see you in a second when I'm done putting the salt where it needs to go. Right, when your dough looks like this and it has gotten some stability, so to speak, Put this to the side and we start kneading. Now what you want to do is you want to knead in all directions. Really make sure that you get a homogeneous dough. And unfortunately there's no easy way to put this, but it's going to take some time, 20 minutes to half an hour. You really have to take that into consideration. You can always stretch it a little bit, you know, and then you can go left to right, right to left, you know, really make sure that you mix it. Now with the salt, what it does is it doesn't only add flavor, it also stops the yeast from overworking itself, so to speak. So that the dough rises, but it doesn't rise too much. Alright, well, I'm going to be doing this for quite a while now. So I'll see you when I'm done. Right, 20 minutes later, our dough is nice and flexible. Now what we can do is now you can stretch it out a little bit and do a little bit of a fold. Try to get some more air into it, which obviously will be lovely later on. Do the left and right, and then we have to form a little ball. Well, not quite so little. And now we're going to, there we go, leave it here, cover it for 15 minutes, and then we're going to do a fold and stretch. 15 minutes are up. Let's have a quick look. And that's how our pizza dough looks like, and look how flexible and stretchy it is. Absolutely nice. So we'll try to get it off this without breaking it up too much, because obviously it has settled now onto our surface. And what we're going to do is we're going to put it in one of those pizza boxes. We'll put a little bit of olive oil in there just to make sure it doesn't stick too much to it. And then it's going to go in the fridge for 24 hours for it to rest and grow and get even more flexible. Now you can do this in any kind of pot or pan that you have. Just make sure that you cover it, because obviously you don't want to dry it out. So let's try to get it off here. And the gluten can continue doing its thing. Isn't that nice? So we'll fold it over a few times, create a nice little round ball. Make sure that we have the right surface tension on it. But that looks absolutely amazing. Alright, here we go. Into the box. Cover it. And I'll see you in 24 hours. Well, 24 hours for me, just a couple of seconds for you. 24 hours later, this is what our dough looks like. He has grown a little bit, and now we just need to get him onto our surface. So let's make sure that he separates, and sometimes that takes a little while. And sometimes you need to persuade it to come out a little bit. So that's what we're going to do now, because obviously that is pretty cold. But here we go. Looks like a pancake of some sorts. And now we have to separate it into individual little pizzas. Usually they're between 280 and 285 grams. So let's get the scale. And then it's always handy to have one of those, you know, dough separators. So let's go grams, and then let's dig in there. But he smells delicious, and let's just give it a try. And see where we end up. 228. There we go, that's big enough. And I will separate the other ones now, and then I'll show you what to do next. Right, all separated. So let's grab one of those little doughs, and what you want to do is you want to stretch and fold. Now what this does is it loosens up the connections that the dough, the water, etc. has made, and it adds some air into the dough, because you can tell, you know, it's cold. It you know, it's not very flexible, so you want to add as much air into it as possible, because then you'll have that fluffy crust that's rising. And then you form individual little balls. You can also just do it this way, you know, just fold it always inwards and create a little dough ball, so to speak. And then we're going to place it straight back into that particular box that we just had used. So doesn't it look nice? We're going to put it back into the box and let it rest for another 24 hours, and then we're ready to cook. Well, or to make pizza. Another 24 hours later, we're done. That's how they look like right now. And now we're going to take some semola, and we're going to take them out of the box and start making our pizza. So make sure you use enough semola, because obviously you don't want to tear them. And then we're going to put some semola on here as well, so we have enough material to spread them. And then you take one of these, go in, and here we go. So take them, and now very important, you start at the very bottom and you push outward. What that does is it will create that pizza style ring that we all love, and obviously it will keep the air in there. Now if you form too big of a bubble, you have to make sure that you pop that bubble, simply because you don't want it to rise too far and then get burned. Now once you've done this, you can turn it around, work from the other side, and always work from the in to the out. And then when you've reached that far, you can actually also take it into the hand and let gravity do its thing, and therefore making them larger. Obviously depending on what size pizza oven you have, or pizza stone, you know, don't make sure, well, you don't overstretch them, don't oversize them. But this is starting to look really nice actually. They are quite thick, but that's quite okay. You know, obviously we want to have a certain thickness in there, but not like the American style pizza where you have like a very thick bottom and an extremely thick crust. But look, it's starting to become a bit see-through, so that's great as well, while the pizza oven is heating up. And we shall be starting to layer our ingredients. Well, we start off with our tomato sauce, and I've used some bruschetta seasoning in it. And what you want to do is anything that you don't touch with your pizza sauce will actually, you know, get darker and burn. So you want to make sure that you have a good even spread, but obviously you don't cover the outer rim too much, at least, so not like me. And then what you do is you take your favorite pizza cheese. Now we're just going to use some grated cheese to start off with, just like that. You can use any kind of pizza cheese you want, doesn't really make a difference. And then what I like to use as well is those little mini mozzarella balls, and just tear them up a little bit. They just add a lovely little flavor to it, and obviously a little bit of moisture as well. Right, there we go. Then you take your pizza shovel, you put a little bit of semola on it. You can use flour as well, but obviously if you have semola, use it. And then what you want to do is you need to lift it and just bring the pizza on, and then fix it a little bit, make it look nice, and I'll see you outside. The pizza oven is nice and hot. I'm going to take off the stone because I had wanted for it to rotate. Just going to put it in, take it out, and we're going to start rotating. There we go, barely a minute later, we're done. So all we're going to do now is drizzle a little bit of olive oil on the top. There we go. Add some basilicum, some basil leaves. And we're done, and we're gonna dig in now. Alright guys, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video about the easiest pizza dough ever, or how to make the easiest pizza dough ever, because it is mega simple. I mean, it does take a little bit of time, 48 hours, so you have to do some pre-planning, but other than that, the dough works for you and it's fairly simple to do. If you did enjoy the video, I would appreciate a comment and a thumbs up. Please head over to that subscribe button for more great videos to come, and I hope to see you soon again at Toby's Barbecue Corner.